We're going to resume our learning in Hishtapchut Nefesh, chapter 94. We actually learned this a couple of days ago, but apparently it didn't come out well on the video transmission. So if anybody's there, let me know if it's send your comment, and we'll if the sound is problematic again, we'll see if we can rectify it. I have an external mic here if need be. Okay, so let's start with these kashrus. Hareinu mikasher etzmi v'atzmeinu v'limud Torah zu lekol hatzadikim ha'amitim sheb'dorenu u'lekol hatzadikim ha'amitim shochnei afar kedoshim asher b'atzem ufrat lebeinu kadosh tzadik yisod olam nachal noveh makol chochma Rebbe Nachman b'tfege nanach Nachman humans chusam yagen leinu l'kol Yisrael. Amen. Oh yeah, but may it be your will that we should be able to come learn this Torah and to come closer to will, and that in so doing you'll bring salvation and healing to the world for anybody who needs healing and anybody who needs Yeshuot or salvations. Please Hashem, Rachem Aleinu, treat us like a loving father treats his children. Kol harotzeh, Tzadik Daled, 94. Kol harotzeh legeshes el kedush ala kodesh. Anybody who wants to draw himself to holiness, to merit to completely come close to the Creator. The main thing, he says, is to pray. The main thing is to pray a lot. And he's specifically talking about the type of prayer where you talk to Hashem as your best friend. In other words, like there's different types of prayer we've talked about before. That there's the Shemona Esrei, the structured, ordered prayer that the sages knew we were going to be a long time without the spiritual power of the Beit HaMikdash and the sacrifices. So I'm going to turn on this light. Yeah, it's probably a little better. And so they, in their wisdom and in their Ruach HaKodesh, and they knew what we were going to need, and they were able to make vessels out of the letters of the prayers to receive the same powers that were accessed for us, that our souls need that were accessed through the sacrificial offerings. So that's one type of prayer, very important. But there's also the type of prayer. The main type of prayer is to talk your life, to have a relationship, to speak with Hashem about bringing that. Hashem, please, I want to come close to you. I want to be according to your will, and I'm begging you, I'm asking you, I'm pleading you, please bring me close. Please let me come to the Kedusha. Let me make my life a reflection of only your will. That type of prayer. We want to talk that way all the time. He says that's the main thing. Ha'ikar. As we've explained many times, right, as we've seen already numbers of times in Hishtapchut Nefesh. Aval gam ze ba'atzmo kaved al adam ma'od v'nidme lo she'en lo shum diburim ve'eno yodeh mima lahaskil ledaber. But sometimes it seems to him that the person's really heavy. Sometimes that you come to Hashem and you've taken the advice, you've made yourself your appointment, and you've sat yourself down ready to speak, and then all of a sudden it's so heavy, and there's the oh good, all right, still, you know what, somebody said it's still broken a little bit at a time, so you know what, let's plug the headset in, and here is the microphone, I believe. Yes. It's right there. And that should be better. Is that better? Is it going to be better now? Is that better or not? Can somebody please give a response? All right, whatever. Let's go on. See what happens. Oh, good. Thanks. Okay, so you're there. You're ready to start talk to Hashem. You've brought yourself to the place. You've scheduled. You said, I'm going to do a session of prayer, and I'm going to do Hitbodedut. And you get there, and there's this heaviness, and it seems like that you don't have words, and you don't know how to start. And it seems so much that the heart that his heart isn't with him. And if he does speak, it's more like no, there's no realness. There's no feeling of connection. There's no sense of wow, I am talking to my creator and he cares and we're having a relationship. That's what we want in these bodhidus. But many times it seems so really hard. And I mentioned this the other day, and I think it's good to try to mention to point this out that this is chapter 94, right? Why do you think that we're talking? Up till now we've gone through 93 chapters of different things, and he's mentioned these ideas, but he's been developing them to this point. And so, why do you think he's talking about this again now? Because he's teaching us that once we start doing this wonderful avoda, the service of talking to Hashem, this is such a high and powerful and amazing light that 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 anytime we're doing anything with tremendous amount of light, and when I talk about light, I mean that there's an arousal of consciousness, there's an illumination of awareness, that just the airwaves, the ethers, let's call, are filled with the consciousness of godliness, and people just from that being in the vibe start to have an awakening to their own souls. That's the type of light that is elicited by this type of prayer and this type of service. So therefore, there's going to be tremendous forces that try to come against this at all times. And the way they get us is we feel heavy. We lose our connection. They clog up the hearts. It's an amazing thing. And if I had, before I learned these teachings from Rebbe Nachman, I didn't understand. I would say those things certainly was going on with me in my life anytime I tried to do anything more productive. These were the heavinesses, and I didn't know that was going on, so I didn't even really notice the heaviness. I didn't notice the resistance. But now I can see that this is exactly what's happening, and so therefore I believe that's why we're seeing it here in chapter 94, because here it is. You started to do some Hisbodedut, you're getting good at it. Maybe you have an opening, and then suddenly one day, all of a sudden, maybe even several times in a row, all of a sudden you don't feel the enthusiasm, your heart's empty, you don't feel like you really want to do this. And so what do? How do you start? So, al ken tzrichim b'schila la'amod hilem, רק ישתוקק ויצפה ויסלה עיניו למרום. שישפיל לו דיבורים חמים, יגח לאש וישב דעתו היטב. I'm sorry, let me just go back. So he says you have to start by being completely like you don't, as if Hashem had created you that you can't talk. That's how we want to begin. Just stand there and long and yearn for words. To hold the feeling. It's painful and it's a yearning, and yearning is a type of pain. And what we want to do is we want to hold that in our hearts, and I for me, what I try to do in that type of case is I feel the yearning, and then I imagine silently screaming it. Rebbe Nachman talks about the silent scream, and he says, when he says, imagine a voice like an oi. I imagine an oi, and I hear and feel the sound of it in my imagination, and I imagine it's so loud, it's like thunder. And it's so powerful, it's like shaking the fountain, making earthquakes. And it's so powerful, this silent scream of oi, with a thought, a feeling inside of yearning how much I want you, Hashem. So how much I want words, how much I want to be able to have a relationship with you, how much for a person who is working on developing that relationship. There are people I know who had trouble believing in God, and then started to, I believe, but I'm angry, I'm resentful to you, and I don't know if I even want to have this type of relationship. So for such a person, that's where I would wish I loved you enough to have a relationship. I wish I believed in you enough. That type of yearning, wherever you are, yearning for the next, a higher level of truth, a higher level of connection. But ultimately, we're talking about yearning for words. And he says literally, raise your eyes. So my eyes are closed, but I'm actually looking up through my third eye as I yearn. So I have no words, and I'm begging in my mind and my heart, please. And I'm imagining a scream of oi with that begging inside, with that feeling of please, Hashem, inside the oi. and my thoughts are about, please, I want words. I'm asking for words. I want to pray to you. I want to follow Rebbe Nachman's advice. All these things can be circulating through your mind when you're holding this silence and holding this yearning. So you look up and you look up and you have this and you're waiting and yearning for Hashem that Hashem will send influence, amazingly powerful words that are burning like passionate words, like burning like coals, and at that point to be able to settle his mind and look at that point when we're in that place to look at where I am in the world, look and recognize I'm so far, no matter how much I've developed, no matter how much we have made a progress in our personal development and growth, no matter how smart we've become, no matter how successful, there's always more. That's why we're here, and Hashem is infinite. So closeness to Hashem is infinitely great, and you can always get closer, or whatever that means. So we have to let ourselves feel that place of, where am I in the world? I'm so far. Where am I? To be settled and understand that that's true. No matter what it is, we're always far away. And we're always infinitely close. But this is the case where we're trying to use the pain of our yearning to ignite our words. So we want to allow ourselves to feel that. Now, and he's going to talk about this later. You got to be careful. You got to be careful not to let yourself fall into any type of a depression when you do that. But and then you have to remind yourself you have good points, and you're you're ultimately very, very close to Hashem, right? But here we're talking about letting that pain be there. So I'm sorry. So and also to have compassion, to recognize the great amount of compassion that there is on ourselves. That this compassion, this pity, that this feeling, like, here I am, Hashem. This Moshe wants so much to come close to you, and he's fallen so far away. And I have so much compassion for him, and to look at yourself from that place and talk to Hashem and have a feeling of how much compassion you have for yourself, about how hard this is for you, that you want to be able to do better and better, and there's so much resistance. Right, and that's what he said, that you let yourself feel the pain of how far, but we also have to remind ourselves to know that we're full of good points, that we still have good points no matter how far we've fallen. That we have to remember that no matter what, we're connecting to the true tzaddikim, and these true tzaddikim, their merits can raise us up, because, like Rebbe Nachman teaches, the main compassion that a tzaddik has for Am Yisrael is to help them to bring them back in tshuva to their Father. So we remember that, and you remember that everything's fine, because you got to be careful not to let ourselves get pulled into the evil, which is the despair and the hopelessness that wants to come. But rather, still, we're standing before Hashem, but kedal uchrash, like a pauper, like I have nothing, like I'm a mute, lo yiftach piv, like I can't open my mouth. And to stand there and to want and to long that Hashem will give us words, eloquent, beautiful, powerful, passionate words, and the desire would be, and that's what I want. What do I want? I want words so that I can talk to you in such a way that it's going to elicit drawing close to your holiness, and to drawing close to your Torah, and to be able to follow your will and to obey your law, and to do it with ever greater refinement, to please you and to give you, Hashem, to give you pleasure, whatever that means. That from now on, that these words are the words we're talking again. What is he saying? These are the words we're yearning for, these types of words. I'm looking for Hashem. I'm asking for you to give me words that are passionate about you. That's what we're asking for, and that's what we're trying to achieve here. Ad asher al yedei zeh ba'atzmo zocheh achar kach li'soirus gadol medaber b'chamimus gedusha. And so that very much that yearning itself starts to show up as an arousal of consciousness and longing. It opens their hearts and it makes it come into that the words start to come out on their own with tremendous passion and holiness. In the aspect of what David Melech said, "Ne'elamti dumia hechsheti mitov," he said, I was silenced like a mute, and I was quieted from all good. Value de but the next verse says, the next part of the verse says, that my heart became inflamed. So I sat, in other words, he's saying, I sat there silent. David Melech said, I sat there silent, and I yearned for you. And then what happened? Chamli bi b'kirbi. My heart became hot inside of you. In my passion, my passion became inflamed like fire, and therefore I spoke with my tongue. So he says this is what there's a word chashmal that's used in the vision of Yechezkel when he sees the chariot and he sees these angelic beings called chashmal, which today in modern Hebrew is translated as electricity. But the word that the sages say that they explain this in Gemara and Chagiga, that this word chashmal has two meanings that we and both of them are explain what chashmal is. One meaning is itim chashot. There are times when it's chash, which is silence. Itim memalalos, and there are times when it's speaking. So this angelic being has alternating current. There's a current of silence, and then there's a current of speaking, and that's what chashmal really is. That's what current. When it says alternating current, or that means it's alternating, and we know that electricity shows that there's a wave, and the way the vibration of the electrons, they go, it's a waveform, and there's an up and a down, there's a silence and there's a speaking, there's a stillness and a moving, and so that's one explanation. They also said further that the word itself chashmal can be broken. It's an abbreviation. The chet is from chayos, which is the type of angels, and the shin is from the word ish, and mal is from the word speaking. Fire angels, they're fiery angels speaking, or angels speaking with fire, fierily speaking. Right? So and both of those things are true. So they're chashmal, they're silent, and they're speaking, and when they do speak, it becomes a fiery, passionate speaking, and that's what he said. That's the bechina. That's when we're silent like that, and then we inflame ourselves through our yearning, and then we're able to speak. That's chashmal. And he's saying that we can learn from this that the main way to fix our ability to speak is through this first being silent, like a mute, that can't open his mouth. Just sit there and yearn for Hashem, stand there and yearn for Hashem with a tremendous, strong desire. And have compassion for yourself, that you want so much, Hashem. I have compassion for myself. I want so much. Look at this neshama that really wants you, and this physicality that covers it up. And it's so hard for this neshama, Hashem, that you've given me, that's the true me, to be in the place where it yearns to be, which is in kedusha, because I'm so crude, coarse, and physical. This physicality covers it so much, and I have so much compassion on myself for that, Hashem. So to sit there with yearning and compassion. And he says that each and every person knows, anybody who's really connected and knows and has done any inner investigation of their own essence, knows that we all know where we're far away. And this is really great, that through my having compassion on myself, it arouses Hashem's compassion on me. And then when this arousal of Hashem's compassion, then he starts to give the flow, because when Hashem's compassion, He allows the flow, as opposed to when there's dinim, which is stopping the flow. So the flow allows the words to start to. This translation of tzaptzef, I saw it translated as chirp in the English translation they use. So tzaptzef is to like chirp, and ledaber kitzas, and like, so for instance, you're yearning, and you're yearning, and you don't have words, and then you keep begging in your mind, please, and then perhaps you're able to say, I want you, please, please. Now that's a good word to chirp. Now please, and then keep thinking the thoughts of what your please is. Just say the word please, and keep thinking and silently screaming, please give me words. But just say please, please, Abba, Father, I want so much. I'm so far, and then the words start to pour forth. Until what happens, and this is the, I'm sorry, I skipped, and this is the aspect of what it says, that from the dust your words will begin to chirp forth. Until you get to the point where passionate, eloquent words are flowing. And it's an amazing, amazing experience, Baruch Hashem, that the few times I've been zoche, that I followed Rebbe Nachman's advice, and I tasted some of what he's talking about, that this is really, and the words that would come out of my mouth sometimes, wow, did I just say that? And then once it starts to flow, what I found is that it's really important to not listen to myself. In other words, I got to, my Yetzer Hara, my ego wants me to, wow, did I just say that? And then I lose it. But what I want to do, if that starts to happen, in the silent scream, I'll just scream, no, Hashem, I don't want to listen. I just want to keep talking to you. This is what I want. I want to talk to you. I want to tell you about my life. I'm begging you to bring me to Kedusha. I want to make my life a valuable service to you and use the gift, all these types of things. So, and through this of, I'm sorry, to these passionate words, the aspect of the fiery angels speaking. And then this type of effort and prayer, to the point where when we do this over and over, where we get to this yearning, and then finally we're able to speak with passionate words, that will bring us to the place where we will truly draw close to the Kedusha and to the aspect of complete acceptance and receiving of the Torah. And this is what our sages said in the Gemara in Brachas, I believe, maybe it's Megillah, let's see. No, it's Shabbos. It says that the final 5 letters I should say the 5 letters that take a different form when they come at the end of the word, the mem, nun, nun, tzadik, the pei, and the chaf. It says Sofim Amarun. Sofim, the simple meaning of what they're saying there is that the prophets told over these letters. In other words, there's a machloket whether these letters were in the original how they manifested, whether they were in the luchot, they were in the original 10 commandments, the 2 tablets, because that's how one of the explanations of that the mem sofit, which is completely encircled, doesn't have anything to hang on to. It's not attached to the outer part of it through any way, so it was just standing there as a miracle in its own place. But then there was a loss of the tradition, and there was a loss of the tradition of which of these final letters, and so they were brought back into clarity through the prophets. Now, so he's going to explain that this is actually a much deeper idea here. He says, because these 5, it's brought down in the teachings of the Kabbalistic teachings, that these 5 letters, they're spiritual, they're a spiritual vessel, or I should say the spiritual underpinnings that make these are from what's called the Chamesh Gevurot, the 5 boundaried energies, the 5 is constriction and restriction energies. That's what the Gevurot are. Powers, the power to stop, the power to make a vessel. So when Hashem created the way that Hashem created the physical world out of infinite light, He created a number of mechanisms, and one of them was the outcoming of these 5 gvurot that end up creating a structure. We won't go into that now, but that's what and these 5 letters, that's their spiritual nature, is these 5 gvurot. And shebehem bechinat esh, because esh, fire, is also from the side of gvura. It's from water is flow, and that's chesed, and esh is like burns. It causes something to come into its final, the ash, its final form, and it takes on a complete, absolute boundary. It doesn't move, and that's the aspect of fire. And also, they were taught that there's the 5 places that we make letters from in the mouth, right? The tongue, the lips, the palate, the throat, and the teeth. These 5 places from which we form our words. The reason they're 5 is because Hashem created it this way, that there's 5 gvurot, five constrictions, and that's the 5 constrictions. When we are taking a sound, that's a flow, and then when we make the p or the d, we're giving it a gvul. That's a boundary, and that's the aspects of gvura. So these are the 5 motzot peh, the 5 places where we make words from. So the fire of Gevura and the words themselves, these are the aspect of these fiery, passionate words. Okay, so this is where he's drawing the comparison, because the word sofim, that a person, when we sit there silently and we're yearning, that's the word sofeh. Sofeh means also to be able to see. The visionaries, the prophets, are sofim. That's why Har Sofim, Mount Scopus, the place where we see Har Habayit, it's the place of being able to visualize. And so the sofim also means expecting, like litzapot, I'm expecting. So when we're raising our eyes and looking, I'm expecting, I'm yearning, I'm looking to see that these words are going to come to me. That's the aspect of Menatzbach, the place where fiery words come from. Sofim are marun. That from the place of Sofim, from the place of this of yearning, then we get to say them. Bechinas, and we're longing and we're waiting patiently Hashem, for Hashem's loving kindness. And that's what it says. I will expect or look to Hashem. I will yearn for the God of my salvation. And that's from Tehillim. Bechinas tov v'yachel v'dumam l'chuas Hashem. It says in the Eicha, in the Lamentations, that it's good to long and be silent, waiting for the salvation of Hashem. And it's through this that we merit, specifically through this process of being silent in this way, that we merit to having passionate words with our Creator, passionate communication with our beloved one. And it also says, in Tehillim, there's no speaker and there's no words. So that's again, he's showing us that David HaMelech, this even though it's Rebbe Nachman's teaching, Rebbe Nachman says, I'm teaching you a new way that's an ancient way. It's the way of David HaMelech. The whole book of Psalms is David HaMelech's Hisbodedut. This is the way. This is how we do it. David HaMelech saying, first, there's no there's no speaker, there's no words. This is the silence and the aspect and the absence of speech. It's only through the hoping for words and the longing for words. And this is what it says in also Tehillim, I think. Yes, that in the line, the kav, went through the world. But he's saying that it's not just kav. Kav means line, but it also has the word kivui, hoping. Kivui v'yichul lechazdei Hashem. So that because by letting our hope penetrate through the world, through our entire existence, through our entire consciousness, and from the ends of human habitation comes their words. And that's the same idea. Also, this is just the way Hashem made it. lovely, sweet friends, we have to remember that why do we start why does our day start at night? Because Hashem created the world so that first there has to be a going down in order to be able to come up. That's what Rebbe Nachman teaches, that every level we come to must entail yurida litzorech aliyah, and he says that the yurida, the going down, is not only the need for the aliyah, it is the main point of the next level, because when we go down, we grab up the holy sparks that are in that place of darkness, and we raise them up to the light. And that's what Hashem gave us, the gift of being co-creators and working with him, as it were, to unfold the creation, because he created all these darknesses, and then threw us into this exile, and then through that we get to lift up all these holy sparks and be partners in the rectification and creation of the eternal worlds, and that's what we're doing. So this is the aspect of why prayer needs to be this way. Prayer needs to be in this aspect of quiet and then powerful speech. So so this is the same idea what Hashem is saying. The whole nature of the world, because nighttime is the time of silence and silently of yearning and longing for Hashem. And that's what David HaMelech said on my lying down, when I was lying down in my bed at night. I asked for what my soul loves. And it says, Rebbe Nachman said that was David HaMelech's main time for Hitbodedut, was when he would be lying down in his bed, and it's at nighttime. V'namar ez kira negina sibalayla, also says, David HaMelech says, I will remember my melody at night. Im lavavi asicha, with my heart I will converse. V'achakach zochin al yidei zeh la'or yom, and so through this nighttime service of yearning, then we bring ourselves, we're in sync with, we're in tune with the light of day, shu shleimus diburim, which is a complete ability to be eloquent and speak words, shehem ikar or, that's the words themselves are the main manifestation of light. B'chinas pesach dvarecha ya'ir, as it says in that the opening of your words will illuminate. So I bless this. I think we're going to pause here. We're going to halfway through, and we'll take it up again, Bezat Hashem, next week. Actually, no, I realized something. We're going to be, I was thinking, and I had some agreement with some of the people that generally learn together, that we were thinking of doing the Turbo Tshuva seminar that I've done a few times, which is basically Torah Vav, about Tshuva for Elul, and how to activate these ideas in a practical mind-body framework, because that's what my area is. I've been working with mind-body medicine for 30 years, and it was so I saw some things from Rebbe Nachman that when he teaches these ideas, I understood some practical ways to apply this, and so I created a seminar, a 4-part seminar called Turbo Tshuva, because, well, you'll see when you learn it. So I'm going to invite everybody to join on next Tuesday at 8:15 Israel time, and hopefully we'll do the Turbo Tshuva, and bless us so that we should, in the meantime, may Hashem illuminate us the ability to pray, to remember that when things are heavy, that there are ways and there are advices for how to come through the heaviness, and may we resolve to truly yearn for and long for words, passionate, true, heartfelt words that will arouse Hashem to shine His light to us, to illuminate Kedusha and the ability to come closer and closer to His Kedusha. May it be your will, Hashem, please, to give us that. May it be your will that you should, all the learning that we did here, take it into our hearts and immerse it in our hearts, and let us be able to truly follow this advice in a way that's pleasing to you, in ways that brings illumination to the whole world. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Good night, good Shabbos, good Chodesh, Chodesh Tov, Chodesh Elul, and we be Zocher the Tshuva Shlema. Thank you.